It's Monday afternoon, Columbus Day. I'm about to take a quick peek at this Chevy Cruze. It's a 2017 certified pre-owned. And the reason I'm looking at it is my buddy and his wife are thinking about buying it for her. It'll be something that they just rack miles up on because she has a pretty decent commute to and from work. And the thing gets like 40 miles to the gallon. It should work out fine. But what I want to do is I want to personally drive it, check it out, make sure everything works, look at it. This way I can report back to them exactly what I think. Because I have no problem telling them, listen, this is not the car for you, don't buy it, and here's why. Like I said, this is a 2017 Chevrolet Cruze. It does have a convenience package which gives you push button start. It's also going to give you heated seats, which is something that was important to them. They really wanted that in the vehicle. We are selling this for $15,577. That is GM certified, which is going to give you all sorts of extra warranty and things like that, which I'm going to go over in a little bit. It has 16,317 miles on it. And nice car, clean car. I already looked at the Carfax. It looks like this vehicle was leased first. The person drove it 16,000 miles in probably 3 years if they leased it sometime in the end of 16. You know, nice car. It's white, which is the color she wants. Has the gray interior. Personally, I prefer a darker interior, but it is nice and clean. It doesn't really show too many signs of wear. The only bad thing about this model is General Motors, I don't know what you're thinking, plastic steering wheel. You know, in my opinion, and this is just me saying this, you should just put the leather wrap steering wheel and everything. And I know obviously there's cost associated with that, but you gotta remember, your hands are on the steering wheel literally 100% of the time you're driving. So the plastic just feels you know, you'd rather have something that feels a little more nice on your hands. Again, maybe it's just a personal preference on my end. This does have the backup camera, and it has the ability for AM/FM satellite radio and projection, which is going to be Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So she'll be able to link up her iPhone or Android, and at that point see Waze, Google Maps, Apple Maps, Pandora, Spotify. You know, the list goes on. Let's take it for a quick spin and see how it sounds. At the moment, I'm hearing a little noise from the brakes. That's pretty normal though. These cars don't get driven every day. If you're ever out there test driving a vehicle and you start to drive it and it has like sort of a grinding type sound from the brakes, that's normal. It's just, you know, oxidation or so that's built up or rust on the rotors from it sitting. As you drive and you use the brakes and it wears off, by the time you're done with your test drive, it should have cleared up at that point. Washer fluid works, wipers work. Now, what I do in a situation like this is I'm going to drive it the same way I do with my customers when they're here. Take it down this bumpy road we have around the corner to kind of see, does it rattle? Does it have any kind of suspension noises? You know, how does it hold the road? And this is, you know, super silent. No obvious rattles. Suspension seems nice and tight, firm. I've actually owned two Cruzes myself, not this body style. This was the style that came out halfway through 2016. I had the prior body style, but both cars served me very well. No issues with either of them. You know, they're really a fantastic car. This car has been discontinued by General Motors because sedan sales have slowed a lot, but you know, you'll still be able to get parts and warranty work done and all that sort of stuff. So there's no worries about anything like that. Just gonna kind of sit on the brakes here a little bit, slow down. That noise I heard earlier, it's already gone. If you test drive a car on a highway, hit the brakes at speed. So if you're doing like 60,000 miles an hour, if you're doing 65 miles an hour, you know, tell the salesperson, listen, I just want to tap the brakes a little bit, make sure there's no one behind you, and give it a little brake, because at higher speeds, sometimes you'll feel that pulsation in the front wheels or in the steering wheel. And if you feel that either through the wheels, steering wheel, or the brake pedal, those rotors might have to be cut down or, you know, replaced. Because this car is certified, we're actually going to go through, you know, the measurements on the brakes. You get measurements on the tires, you know, all that sort of stuff. See how it accelerates. Yeah, it accelerates good. There's nothing, this car is nice. There's no issues with this car. Not that we have issues with cars, but every now and then you get something that might feel like it was, you know, driven a little harder or something like that. It doesn't make it a bad car, just doesn't necessarily make it something that I'd want to push towards somebody or tell somebody that I'm confident in. Here at Schumacher Chevrolet, though, we take great pride in what we have, especially on our used car lot. You know, you got to remember when you're selling certified pre-owned cars, or regular pre-owned cars for that matter, that aren't certified, you know, your reputation is everything. If you put cars out there that are going to give people a hard time, you know, in the long run, it's just going to ruin your reputation, you know, and then people aren't going to come to buy cars from you. It's as simple as that. Hazards are working, no fast blinking, which means no bulbs are out. Mirror adjustment on the left works, mirror adjustment on the right works. Window, whoa, there goes the sticker. Window, radio. Climate control, turn the fan speed all the way up. Make sure your AC is lit. Oh yeah, it's blowing cold. Turn the heated seat on. We make sure we have books, owner's manuals, all that sort of stuff that came with the vehicle when it was new. These Chevy Cruzes do have your 12-volt plug and a USB port along with an auxiliary jack. And there's even a USB port back here, which their son would be perfect if he's in the back with the iPad or anything like that. He can be plugged in and it'll stay charged for him. Steering wheel controls, you got cruise. These buttons here are for the driver information center. So this goes through all the different gauges, trip odometers, fuel range, stuff like that. But this is what's really important to them. Check this out, best score over 50 miles, 46.1 miles per gallon. That's gonna easily double what they're currently getting in the car she's driving now, which is great. And I'll tell you right now, the heated seat is definitely working because it is getting hot. Car really has no scratches, no door dings, anything like that. So it's in real nice shape. Nice size trunk in these cars, plus you can fold the seats down. And this does have the spare tire, which is a compact spare, but definitely nice to have in the car. This is the only car we have that does this. Basically, you pull this for your hood. See how it says pull twice? Once you pull it once, you pull it again. And then when you get here, you don't have to do anything underneath. There's no latch or anything under here that you would have to use to unlatch it. You basically just pull up. And when the door is closed, it actually blocks that lever so it can't be pulled while you're driving. Because if you pull that twice while you were driving and then the wind catches the hood, it might throw it up in the air. This is our 1.4 liter turbo. It's got about 155 horsepower. Great little engine, it's got good power. Front wheel drive car. So it's very good in the snow, and I think it'd be perfect for him. Okay, so I pulled the folders on these cars. Now, I'm saying cars. So while I came back inside, my buddy texted me about another car we have. It's a 2016 Buick Encore, so I'm gonna get the info on that as well and take a peek at that in a second. But what we do is we put a folder like this together for every certified or every used car on the lot. Most importantly, there's no damage stamp on here. If this was stamped damage in red letters, it would tell me as a salesperson that we did some sort of body work to the car in our body shop. And then there would be photos inside this folder. So let's say the car came in and had key scratches or had a dent. Well, basically what we would do is we would fix it. Before we fix it, we would take pictures of it so I can show you or my buddy or whoever's looking to buy the car, hey, listen, you know, the car had key marks. This is what it looked like. Here's the finished product. Then it goes through a certification process, 172-point inspection. And with this inspection, it's gonna go through tire measurements, brake measurements. Tires are 830 seconds all around, which is great. 8 millimeters on your brake pads, which is great. They start at like 10 millimeters. You know, 16,000 miles on the car, one owner, you know, not driven all that much. So, you know, probably all original and normal wear there. Next thing would be a repair order. Basically what this goes through is everything we did to the vehicle. So this didn't need much: oil filter, oil change, air filter replacement, cabin air filter replacement, and there was some sort of plastic exterior trim that needed to be replaced, so we popped that on and fixed that. We spent $261.26. Our service department charged us basically to get that work done. You don't pay for that as a consumer at our store. It's just included in our process. I also have Carfax. This was a one-owner vehicle, like I had said. You know, they leased it. It's pretty standard. They had it for 2 years and 1 month, so it's probably like a 27-month lease that they got out of 2 months early here, returning it here and leaving in a new vehicle. Everything with this car looks great. So, you know, again, all this information I would go over with him when he gets here, him and his wife, and they'll see all this sort of stuff, as well as if you were looking to buy a car from me, I would do the same thing with you. Here's a Buick Encore. It's also white, which is the color she wants. This one has the sunroof, which she also wants. However, what's different is it does not have a push button start. It's a regular turnkey. It also is a little bit more money. We're selling this for $16,947, and it does not have heated seats. So she's missing out on the heated seats. She's picking up on the sunroof. Buick puts their screen all the way up in the front with controls down here. So it's not a, I don't believe it's a touchscreen radio. No, yeah, and it would make no sense for it to be touchscreen, because if it was, you'd never reach it anyway. But you know, a lot of the same features. This still has a CD player. Now the question is, if we hit a menu button here, okay, so here's the problem. It does not have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So when you go to your home screen and you search through, this is the old style radio software. So you cannot plug in for Waze, Google Maps, all that sort of stuff like you can in a Cruze. In my opinion, that alone, that is a huge feature to have in a vehicle, especially because they're going to buy this and they're going to keep this car, you know, as a commuter car maybe 5 years. You know, you don't want to buy something that's just outside that technology. I'm really doing a good job selling this Encore, aren't I? I think they'd be better in a Cruze. Guys, buy the Cruze. Quick update on the truck with the ghost situation. So remember that video I did a day or two ago about being ghosted on an appointment, which was technically supposed to be this truck sold. The gentleman never showed up, and I called this morning and it went to voicemail. So like I anticipated, probably he was out shopping somewhere else. In the message, you know, best in this situation, there's no reason to get mad, angry, anything like that, but you do want to just make sure that the gentleman doesn't want the vehicle, right? And he's not still in the market. So I did leave a message. I said, listen, you know, I know we had an appointment Saturday and you didn't show. I'm figuring maybe you found something else. You know, just, you know, let me know if you can give me an update on what your status is. And he was very kind, and he did just shoot me a text back that said, yeah, listen, sorry, it didn't work out. I was working 2 deals and I did take the other one. So, you know, listen, this happens in the business. The lesson I learned, again, is that I got to follow my dealer protocol, which means I have to have a deposit in-house. I have to have a signed retail order. I need to get that sort of stuff, because what it's going to do is it's going to solidify in that customer's mind that he's actually buying a vehicle. In this case, we had none of that. We were trying to do it in 1 day for him because he needed the car that day. And, you know, in doing that, we brought a truck in, and it happens. What are you gonna do? You know, like I said, you learn your lesson, you kind of move on, and you go from there. So we made some new tags, put the tags back on, put the key tags back on, back in the machine. Now we have a nice LTZ Silverado to sell somebody else. My buddy will be here, like I said, Wednesday to look at the Cruze and the Buick Encore, him and his wife. Actually, I'll be with him tomorrow, and tomorrow I might have a video. I'm gonna bring the Bolt down to him because he hasn't seen it yet and hasn't driven one. So I might put a video together about what his experience and his reaction to driving the Chevy Bolt. Keep an eye on the channel, because that may be maybe an up-and-coming video. But for now, listen, I'm gonna go to work, see what else I can accomplish throughout the day today. You guys enjoy your day, and questions, comments, anything, again, you know what to do. Have a good one.